do. I can't got an update on my phone, and now I can't do my live shows in landscape. I have to do them in portrait. So hopefully I can still answer questions. I just love technology. It's so awesome. My screen won't rotate, and it's not screen orientation anymore. So hopefully some questions pop up. I don't know how this is going to work, but wow, this really sucks. I'm really disappointed. This may be the end of my live shows because wow, I don't know what to say. Awful, awful, awful. So, and it's not even YouTube's fault. It's screen orientation on my brand new phone, and I guess it just had an update. So hopefully there's some questions. Let's see. Yeah, good. So again, sorry about the orientation. There's nothing I can do about it, and yeah, this really sucks. But I'm the man who takes people out into the field and has either live interact with or eyewitness a Sasquatch, and I'll be answering questions. So, and I'll be getting to them as quickly as possible. Oh my goodness, this is just a mess. I really don't like the screen orientation like this. So, what's going on here? So this is not working. So I can't even see myself anymore. Oh man, this sucks. Whew, what a crock. God, technology just so annoying sometimes. Anyways, I saw a question, even though everything's a mess here. What a total disaster. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Live shows have been going so great, but yeah, this is a mess that I'll have to fix. Uh, First question that I'll answer here that I saw a minute ago and now I can't see is: does Bigfoot have a mating season? And absolutely not. Um, they're going to be just like human beings, just like gorillas, just like chimpanzees. Human beings are very original and they have a monthly cycle that they do. And I learned that from gorillas. Gorillas at the zoo are literally given birth control pills, just like human females in human cycles. So, yeah, there's not going to be a mating season. The good question is though, are they going to be intelligent enough to make sure that they have babies born in the spring? Because if you have a baby born in the wintertime, or even born, September, October, November, uh, in late fall, the child's chances of survival are going to be significantly decreased. So they'd have to be smart enough to know when to breed, which would probably be, they should be breeding around September to have their offspring born in the spring. So, and yes, are they amazing and intelligent enough to do that? And the answer is I don't know. But when can we see more real footage? Documentary is being worked on right now. As you guys know from the uh, last live show, I am working on the next Discovering Bigfoot movie, and it's coming together. Hey man, hey John, all my girls phone, but Michael Applegate from KY. Salute Todd. We need another Discovering Bigfoot. Yes, and it's coming. I'm working on it. Hello from Florida. Hello Florida. What's up, Tanner? Hey Kyla. And Kyla, you haven't been around for a while, have you? Yeah, it's nice to see you back, Kyla. Hi Andy, thanks for tuning in again and taking care of the room. Any updates on those idiots wanting to hunt Sasquatch? No. I mean, I pretty much just versed them, and I guess the end result is I have people that are going to go up there and make sure that they are uh, not going to be successful in that endeavor. So I think they may have abandoned it, but maybe they're just rope a dope and meat. But needless to say, I'm going up there during the time that they intend to harm a Sasquatch, and there are other people, many other people, that are going to be up there doing whatever damage they can do, and I don't think they can succeed. They'll have to get a new plan. So that's it. When can we see more real footage? Coming up in my documentary. Todd, what do you think of the Discovery Show Killer Alaska? I don't know it. So there's Kyla saying hi to everybody. Any dates for Discovering Bigfoot 2? The summer, probably August or so. I think it'll come out. Enjoy your videos. How about posting a portrait gallery? Good idea. I have lots of my photographs up on Instagram and on my Facebook page. How much does it cost to have a close encounter with the Bigfoot? You're talking about expeditions? Go to my expedition page. The expeditions, it's not really, uh, there's a cost, but it's really, to get on board is, I pick the people that I take out, and yeah, that's gone really well. So I've full up for this year. Ideally, I don't really want to. I don't want to take new people out too much. Ideally, I'd like to take out of 20 expeditioners a year, I'd like to take maybe 4 new people out a year, and the rest of them just be repeat people that are not so much expeditioners, but more along the lines of colleagues that are going to be assisting me and helping me with the research. In gestation, 9 months. Yeah, that's another thing, right? Is gestation 9 months? I just assume that, right? And I don't know with gorillas and chimpanzees specifically. I would assume it's around there. I mean, could it be 10 months? Yeah. Could it be 8 months? Not likely. So I think it would be 9 months or more. I couldn't see it being more than 10 months, to be honest. But that's a really good question, right? So then they'd be breeding in August. Now that is interesting. So let's say August bred, so September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. That'd be too late. So then if there would be a mating season, the best time would be July and August. And I find that August is the worst time in my research area for Sasquatch, and I'm trying to find a reason for that. And I don't know what the answer is. The reason this came up, the reason I'm mentioning this now is because potentially they could be breeding at that time of year. And so, yeah, very interesting stuff. Do Sasquatch smell us? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. I've seen them smell me. I have people peeing all over the place. Sense of smell to them is extremely important. So, yeah. Belty Pagan asked me, do I know anything about Michigan Bigfoot? I do not. Do you think there is Sasquatch in Northern Ontario? Absolutely, yes. There's Andy asking to subscribe and all that stuff. All that information is correct. Thank you very much for posting it, Andy. Was the wizard Merlin a Sasquatch? I would definitely not think so. But what makes you say that? I don't know much. I know a little bit about Merlin, but I wouldn't think so. No, I mean, he would be bigger, right? So I would definitely think not. My question to you would be, why would you ask that question? What would make you interested in that? Any update on those guys trying to hunt? Yeah, we just talked about that. Lynn in Florida have tried to speak to these individuals. If so, have you gotten a response? Well, I'm always trying to communicate with them in different ways. And yeah, I mean, they respond with tree breaks, they respond with knocks, they respond by interacting with me, but it's extremely superficial, my communication back and forth. So I give them apples, they take them, they leave me little structure, they make little rock structures, and so communication is incredibly superficial. I would love to communicate with them more, and that's just not happening. So they bury their scat. I would think probably, but I've found their scat that wasn't buried. So, but I would assume most of the time they do. And it's just my thoughts. I have no evidence of this. I do. I sphagnum moss, rip it up and cover it. I just have a feeling they do that, and I don't know why, but not always, because I have found scat samples that weren't buried. I'm totally impressed with the photos you have taken. Thank you very much. This is Noob Talk 101. I love the clarity and detail. Thank you. I'm so proud of them. I really am. I'm so proud of them. Hello, Doug. How's it going? Oops, something just happened weird. This portrait mode is really strange. Things are jumping around. How far is your research area from civilization? Do you ever use Google Earth to monitor the research area in winter? No, not at all. That would be wonderful. What a good idea, right? I should have an expeditioner get on that. From civilization, well, let me say this. Gosh, like as the crow flies, it's a really, I mean, I don't want to give too much details, but I mean, it's a 1 hour drive from a nothing town, from Radium. So, and Radium, I don't know if you call it civilization. Radium's definitely civilization. So Radium might have a population of about 4,000 people. I'm just guesstimating. So that's the little town. These little towns, though, I mean, from Calgary, which is a major city, the next major city over is going to be, I don't know, like Golden, I guess. Like Banff is a little town. That's civilization. It depends what you call civilization, right? Because even Banff is surrounded by a national park, right? So there's just so much. Like when I go to Texas, I drive through there and I see just civilization everywhere. I don't see Like here, it's oceans of wilderness and wildlife and forest. There's there's really, oops, all right, careful. Sorry, my dog's bumping the screen. There's much more out here where I am. Like once you get past Calgary, it's 90% wilderness. More, 95% wilderness. Go lay down somewhere. You're gonna bump my tripod. There. Sorry. Got a nice big fat Roddy who's trying to get comfortable. But so yeah, it's you know, to me, it's really just it's wilderness surrounded by little patches of civilization is all we have here. So Randy asks, my 33-year-old son Brad was killed. We did a lot of trekking for Bigfoot. Okay, hold on. My 33-year-old son Brad was killed. Okay, I don't know how he was killed. We did a lot of trekking for Sasquatch. We had 2 sightings in NCA. It's hard to start again. I'm very sorry to hear that, Randy. My condolences. Yeah, I've gone through tough times and done Sasquatch research, and it's hard. So I actually during really hard times for me, I went out and asked the Sasquatch for assistance, and they came around less because of the damage I'd been through. They stayed away from me because I was injured, and they want a strong person to interact with, I think. But what you're going through is different. So I was going through family court. I was going through a child custody battle. I didn't have my children. I do now. But and I felt like when I went out there for the Sasquatch, I was like, I feel horrible. I don't have my children. And they didn't understand. Well, just go get your children. And I'm like, well, family court won't allow me until I do all this stuff. And so the Sasquatch don't understand that. But perhaps with you, it might be different. So your son is passed, and perhaps you can go out and ask them for help, because they are my teachers. I did ask them for help, and the message I got back was, go see your children, you dumbass. Someone took my children away. I'll go see them. What are you doing here doing research? Go get your children. Go be a dad. That's first. Family's first. With you, a passing, they might have advice on that. So it's very different. And I've never gone out there after having lost somebody and asked them for guidance. So yeah, I think going out to the wilderness though and doing, getting connected to nature is very healthy. Finding yourself, and if it's something that your son Brad loved, I'm sure he would love to see you get back out into the wilderness. My best advice. Todd, what do you think of the researchers who claim some of the Sasquatch hair is clear? Oh, yeah, I don't know. I would think not. I could be wrong. I don't have enough evidence. I don't see why the hair would be clear. No, I don't see that. They have color. The hair is going to have pigment. So I can't see that. That doesn't make sense to me. So Candace is saying, seems like the activity ramps up in Kentucky, for me anyways, in November through January. In November through January. And what you got to ask yourself is, where are the food sources in the wilderness, right? So for me, it's June, so end of spring, early summer to fall. So, and I've had tremendous success for the first time in these past couple years in the late spring, early summer, as much as I've been having in fall. So thanks to new people that are working with me and doing stuff with me. Do Sasquatch smell us? I said that already. Yes. Wait a second. Did I bump down weird here? What's going on? I'm just going to start scrolling. Sorry, everything's a mess, guys, because I'm in portrait today and my phone won't switch over. Natives from the Hoopa Indian Reserve elders said Bigfoot kidnapped women in spring for mating. So that's very interesting, right? Kidnapped them in the spring. Late spring? Maybe if gestation is 11 months, then that would make sense, right? So, and I love information like that. Native information is very powerful. So, and I guess that wouldn't be much of a stretch, would it, to think that, human pregnancy is 9 months. They're literally triple the size of us. So, and I love that information, Randy. I love that information. See, you should be answering some of these questions, right? So that's hugely, I would actually, I would rely on that information tremendously. I really admire what the natives have to say about stuff. So if they were being kidnapped in May, then that would mean babies come out. It even depends on like where the Hoopa Indians. Those are in the Washington State, Oregon area, Montana. So I'm not exactly sure of where. I think they're even in Oregon. So the seasons are going to be somewhat similar to what I know of. So yeah, very interesting stuff, right? Tanner Timothy says, I was surveying a desolation sound and came across scat. It looked like a horse and a cougar scat. What? Looked like a horse and cougars? Horse and cougar scat are very different. It was super weird. How would you describe their scat? I wasn't sure what type of scat it was. I described their scat as like huge bear, similar to bear. And they sometimes they'll deposit it long, like a bear will pile it up and they'll deposit it long sometimes. So, but quite like giant human scat, and very natural. Like human scat is nasty. People eat nasty things, and the Sasquatch are very pure, very clean. So, when am I going back to the bush? Well, I was just in the bush last week, and I'll be back. This is a Jeep. I'm going back just in a few weeks. So, Dave Wilson, Adirondack Mountains here. Hello. Love the Adirondacks. There are Sasquatch there. Is there Bigfoot in Northern Ontario? Yes. When are you coming back to the bush? Something's doubling up here. Hey Todd, your videos are informative and I hope to see more. Heard many stories about Bigfoot. That's awesome, Justin. Congratulations. I'd like to hear your stories. Bigfootencounter@gmail.com. So we'd love to document the encounters and please share with Todd. Yes, there's the link right there. Go to there and share your encounters with us. Hi Todd, are there any elderly Bigfoot? Yes, Anna. Definitely. I talk about a Sasquatch I had an incredible encounter with, who was grayish, and he had slender legs. Even his muscles were slender. So yeah, I want to move to Canada, Robert Taylor, and a lot of Canadians want to move to the United States for this pandemic stuff that's been going on. Canada's nice though, and the United States is beautiful. I don't know. It's love your land, right? Government's different. When are you going back to the bush? What's going on here? That question keeps getting asked. Oh, it's just over and over. Hi, Todd. I started watching your videos. Incredibly interesting research and information. Looking forward to seeing you more. From Justin in Wales. Well, thank you, Justin. I have people coming up from the UK this year. I'm really excited about it. Recommendations, stop name dropping. I actually love your work, but your ego can be insufferable. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Crystal. Don't feel like I have much of an ego. And I won't stop name dropping. I'm going to name drop and give people credit. That's not egotistical. I'm proud of the people I work with. I'm proud of all the colleagues that I work with. I was just even watching in my footage today. Something that's very cool is I rarely go out alone anymore. So maybe something I should try to focus on this year a little more, because I'm almost never out alone now. I always have people with me, and I have incredible relationships with amazing people, and I'm so grateful for that. So if that's egotistical, then don't watch. Have you been up to Cushman Lake? I've been there. I don't know where Cushman Lake is. Lost in the cuts. Genuine Persons channel, sir. Please show more pics and videos, and please add English subtitles so that we can all understand it. I think my English is pretty clear. I don't have an accent. But I guess my Canadian accent sounds powerful to Scots people, right? Have you ever asked Sasquatch questions and asked them to respond with one sound for yes, two sounds for no? Please try it next time. That's a good idea. But I don't get. This is from Fuzzy Tiger. I don't get interactions. That would be amazing. You know, I do not have that level of interactions. I would not. I couldn't imagine having the opportunity to try something like that. That would be amazing, you know. But I'm just, yeah, I'm not even close to that. If I could ever think of I couldn't even think of a place to do that in. They take, yeah, just not even close to being that good. Hey Todd, do Sasquatch hunt on a regular basis? Yes. Or do they mainly subsist on plants and berries and such? Do they eat meat on a constant basis? What is the plant to meat ratio they consume? There's a lot of questions I don't know the answer to. Because they must, like, just based on logic, they have to have they have to be eating a ton of meat because there's just not a significant amount of foods in the areas I'm researching them. However, and I even see them hunting deer. I see them herding the elk, defending the elk, scaring off wolves, protecting the elk like it's their, like literally it's like their cows. However, I've had several scat samples and I've never seen any sign of meat in them. So the scat is completely vegetative, like amazingly vegetative. Never saw a sign of meat in it. When Survivor Man and I examined a piece of scat that I'd gathered one of the first times I met him at a fancy restaurant, he broke it open on a table and was splitting it, cutting it with like in this nice restaurant because it was clean. Like nobody was like, oh, gross. It was very, very clean. It was fully vegetative. So that's my position on that, though. I mean, in the winter, how do they survive? They've got to eat meat. But so Todd, you're 100% correct. Modern man is so domesticated, but a remote tribe deep in the Amazon is still able to mind speak, read. They encounter the Perusian perspective fast. It is. Totally agree with you, Andy. Hi, Todd. Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario in the house. Hey, Sault Ste. Isn't it Sault Ste. Marie? It's very French, and I know of it. I had a sailboat in Thunder Bay. It's beautiful territory. Definitely got to be Sasquatch in that area, right? That's like when you go to Thunder Bay and Sault Ste. Marie and all these little towns, just surrounded by wilderness on all sides, right? And Ontario is very original, beautiful wilderness. I finally got a chance to see your episodes of Tracking Bigfoot on Prime. Really good. It's on Prime now. I didn't even know that. I guess it's on Amazon Prime. I guess it worked out. I had no idea. So thank you for telling me that. Would you consider going on Dr. Phil and doing a polygraph? Absolutely. So I've done polygraphs before. I passed them. So yeah, I would have no trouble doing a polygraph test. Don't even have to do it on Dr. Phil. I'd go on just any show and do that. Shout out from Billings, Montana. Hell, I love Montana. Yeah, I would. I've done tons of research there. Definitely Sasquatch in Montana. I've spent probably 50 days of my life, boots on the ground in the backcountry, researching in Montana. So checking in from the Adirondacks. Hello, Nathan. Hello, Royal Creations. Boom, boom. We're all here. It's all about the boom, which are the Sasquatch. They've been here. People are the ones sleeping. Leave them alone. If you want Ted to be found, they would come out. Well, this is Tony PG, so he's trying to say they've been here. People are the ones sleeping. I agree with you. They have been here. People are sleeping. I'm sleeping. I'm trying to wake up. That's why they're my teachers. I'm trying to learn how to wake up better. Leave them alone. No, I won't leave them alone because they're interacting with me. They come out and interact with me. If they show themselves to me. So, and then he's probably saying he means Todd, not Ted. Todd to be found. They would have come out long ago, but they are coming out and they are interacting with people and they are trying to speak and say things. And I am a conduit for that. So, I appreciate your perspectives, but they're the ones interacting with me. They're the ones coming around, and you know that's the way it is. They make the choice. There are Sasquatch that don't want to be interacted with, but my troops that I work with absolutely come around, are very excited to see me, and I'm very excited to be doing this research with them. Hey, Todd, much respect to you all out there researching people, trying to prove the existence of Bigfoot. Thank you very much. It is a discovery process. Make room for the boom. Yes, it is the boom. The boom is the Sasquatch. In case those of you who don't know, the Sasquatch call themselves boom. That's how they refer to themselves. Hello from Maine. I would love to get out to Maine, but I've never been there. Why do you think game cameras don't work? I've talked about it many times. They're just incredible trackers. You can't hide a game cam from the greatest trackers that have ever lived. They stick out like a sore thumb, and your intentions are wrong when you put them out. See, intentions matter. When you're trying to sneak around, when you're trying to get photos of them, it's sneaky and it's deceptive, and now your energy is bad, and they won't even come around for your energy. So moose are big. They don't eat meat. True. You're right. And perhaps, see, this is an excellent perspective. Moose are huge. Maybe the Sasquatch are eating other things. So, but the problem, Northern Lights, is why are they defending the elk? Why are they herding the elk? And I've actually seen them. I've seen them hunt and kill deer, like the evidence, the trackways. I know elk have been killed by them. So I mean, for all I know, they could be eating pine needles and have huge guts to digest that. I don't know, but They definitely do hunt meat. This is the conundrum. This is the enigma. They definitely are hunting and killing deer and eating deer and elk. I've never seen evidence of the killing of moose, but I've definitely never seen any signs of meat in the scat. That's what I'm. It's always like that with the Sasquatch. It's always this mystery. I don't have the answers for that stuff. I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you what I know. But yeah, you're right. So, do you think the Sasquatch like that you teach us about them? Yes, absolutely. They they know I do this. They know, like literally. I remember. I haven't talked about this in a long time. I remember when I first started working with my favorite Native people. Um, what happened was a photograph of mine was in the front page of the National Post and the Calgary Herald, and it's a reserve close to the city of Calgary. And and what happened was these natives called me and said, "Can you let us know when you're going to do that stuff? Because the Sasquatch go crazy. The Sasquatch are nuts and they're breaking things and howling and shaking things up. They know." Like when people start looking at the photographs of them and they put that energy out, the Sasquatch respond. They feel that people are thinking about them and watching them, and they respond. So they know that I'm doing this stuff. So I hope that's a very superficial way for me to be explaining something that's very deep and meaningful. But I hope you can understand when when the natives called me and told me that, hey, at least tell us before you put out a big photo like that, or make when you have a big release, because we need to be prepared for the Sasquatch getting crazy and responding. And I really respected that, and I learned so much from that. That that answers your question. Yes, they know. Northern Lights, good point about the moose. Very good point. It's been it's been on Prime for quite a while. Actually, say I don't know. So the distributors tell me nothing. Uh, yeah, I get no information. Does a baby Bigfoot have big feet? Actually, not really. The feet seem to get bigger later. The feet are kind of squarish though. Well, they're larger, but it's not like you'd think. Hey Todd, how many calories does Sasquatch have to consume daily? It must be huge because they're so big. Do they store meat and natural edibles? They are storing. I've seen them store salmon. Take salmon up to the permafrost and wrap them in the sphagnum moss. Or do they only eat fresh? No, I know. So they know they store that. Are they going to dry their meat out? Because they don't use fire. And that's how the Indians would really dry their meat out with heat and fire. So I don't know that they can do that. But in the wintertime, if you kill an elk and it's cold, the meat will last a long time. You could eat frozen meat, right? So lots of questions in there that I'll answer them as best I can. But so much information I'm just speculating on because I don't know. So Salutas, tell us about seeing the Bigfoot protect the elk. Well, I've seen them. So in Montana, I talked about Montana's. It's one of the first things. I've seen this many times, but what was happening in Montana, this guy called me to come out there because an outfitter, there was this area, there's like hundreds of elk, and it's easy to get to. And every year, an outfitter would come in there and go, "Oh man, I'm going to start guiding and hunting people. We'll get elk like crazy." And he started. So an outfitter would come in and go out of business because as soon as the outfitter came in, the Sasquatch would get pushed back up into a park area where they couldn't be hunted. And then when the hunting pressure left, the elk would come out. When there's no outfitters trying to hunt them, the elk would be all in this area. But as soon as people came in to hunt them, the elk would literally be herded the next day, way up in the wilderness, herded miles and miles away, actually back into Lewis and Clark National Forest. And elk don't know about boundaries or places that people don't hunt. Apparently, the Sasquatch, I guess you could say they know. And that's why this guy contacted me, is because he knew about these outfitters going out of business, and he knew that the Sasquatch were the ones that were pushing the elk around so they couldn't be hunted. So can you naturally assume that the elk are protecting the elk, the Sasquatch are protecting the elk because it's their food source? I would think so. I would think they wouldn't just be doing that for fun, for, for giggles. Look at screwing the people up. So they really have a purpose when they do things. So that's how it first started, as I was seeing that happening, and then I've seen lots more since then, like wolves getting driven off, like particular elk herds that are just flourishing. Even, gosh, there's so many pieces of evidence I've seen. It's just, I could go on. I could make a whole movie about the evidence that the elk are that the Sasquatch are protecting and keeping their elk, but they just are. So I was getting into my tree stand and spoiled a turkey off the roost, and it flew off clucking and had a Bigfoot scream at me from downwind, got it on video. Well, that's awesome, Candace. I'd love to hear that. So there's links. Increase your chances of viewing a Sasquatch with their tip sheet. Anyways, I would love to hear more about that, Candace. So yeah, try to go to my website, send us an email. I'd love to see that. You should put it up on YouTube. So I share this stuff because I want this information out there. I want when people see a Sasquatch or have something happen with a Sasquatch, I want them to watch the movie, to go look for the tree breaks, to understand the way the trackways go, and have a place to go to, right? Even all of you aren't all of you being educated? Aren't all of you watching the Survivor Man shows, discovering Bigfoot, watching my YouTube videos, taking information from me and other sources? I'm sure, other people, and taking that and then putting it back out there. So it's all word of mouth, and I'm that's why I'm here, is to help. And I feel like you putting it out there, it would help me, and it would help me to help other people, right? So you're such a positive example to others, and your intentions are pure, not selfish. Well, Brandy, I just got called a narcissist today, I think. Egotistical by somebody. People have their perspectives, all right? So how's it going, Todd? Been a fan for a couple years. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Zach. And Andy's talking about Candace. That's such a cool encounter. Very, very cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about it. They're definitely here in Oregon. Then there's no doubt about that. Oregon's like such a hot spot. Oregon and Washington, like, gosh, isn't that like Walla Walla and all through there? Some of the best. Walla Walla's in Washington, but Oregon's right below that. I mean, it's some of the best Bigfoot evidence habitat in the whole world. I mean, it's incredible, right? So, yeah, they're definitely in Oregon. There's no doubt about it. Do the Sasquatch have a preference in their meat? Do they prefer some? I really see, these are way too intricate questions for my superficial research. But what I do know is a Sasquatch can literally wake up and go, I'd like bighorn sheep today, and they'll know where to go to get bighorn sheep. Or they go, I feel like a moose today, and they'll know where to go to get moose. That's how well they know their habitat, and it's going to be that easy for them to harvest an animal. They just know their habitat backwards, forwards, sideways, upside down. I mean, one thing I know about my teachers, the Sasquatch, is they know their lands. They know how to survive. They live in abundance. And, bighorn sheep are not tasty to us, but maybe the Sasquatch think they're delicious. Moose are very tasty. Elk are delicious. My favorite meat, period. Red meat is elk. So, I'm sure they have, each individual is going to have different preferences, right? So some people like pork, some people like beef, some people like chicken. So for me, I find I like to switch it up, and I think that's what the Sasquatch. Just they seem to be of such free, open minds, and they're so survival orientated. Yeah, I bet you they'd have wonderful diversity. It just comes with being so strong and so well adapted. That's why I would make that assumption that they're going to eat all these sources of food because they're so extremely good at surviving. They're going to have every level of every possibility. And yeah, Randy says, I think they're telepathic. I disagree with you, Randy. I know they're telepathic. like 1000%. Absolutely. You should, this might not be your first show then, because I talk about it all the time. I don't think they are. I absolutely know it without any doubt. I've been measuring their level of telepathy. They're absolutely empathic, telepathic to levels that are just absolutely blowing my mind. Do they harvest one species consistently more than others? I say I can't. I can't know that information. So elk, it seems, because they herd them and move them around. I don't think they can do that with deer, and moose they can't, because moose don't live in herds. So elk is going to be the best big food source that's herdable like a cow. You do as much work cutting up an elk as you do a deer, and you get twice as much meat with an elk. So it's much more efficient to harvest elk and get more sustenance out of it than a deer. What is a group of Sasquatch called? I call them a tribe, is what I've evolved to. I used to call them a troop, like a troop of gorillas or chimpanzees, but I think I like to say tribe. There you go, Candace. Would you document your encounter? So please go there, Candace. Thank you so much, Andy. You guys are awesome, the way you guys organize things, and I really appreciate that, Andy. I have a place adjacent to New York's 6.2 million acre Adirondack Park. Grew up there my entire life, over 50 years. I've heard tree knocks deep in the Silver Lakes wilderness. area thought they're in the Adirondacks. I went out and I met Kyle in the Adirondacks and had an interaction with the Sasquatch and saw tree breaks and tracks. They're there. So 100%. I've been boots on the ground and seen it. I would love a book of your photos. Yeah, and that book has got gosh, so much stuff I have to do. Just like so much. But the book is definitely going to happen. Unfortunately, I'll say in my lifetime. I would love to write a book because there's so much more behind the scenes that are going on that I never talk about and that I've really well documented. So, yeah, is this Michael Applegate I have in a video? I don't know. Don't know who Michael Applegate is. Have you read Enoch? No, I haven't. Any correlation in the audio of Sasquatch saying Enoch? I, I don't like to read books like that. Just because I don't want to be skewed. I like where I'm at. I like the way I'm learning things in a raw, natural way, and I don't want to take on other people's perspectives. I try to keep a really open mind to it, and that's really important to me. Like I've read bits of Jeff Meldrum's book because it's very scientific and there's a lot there, and I've read bits of John Benedict's book, but I haven't read the whole thing. Just because again, I don't want other ideas. I like the way I feel like I'm a young person learning in an honest way, like a child is learning raw, and I really appreciate that. When something pops up and I have a question, there are people that I trust that have read that book and they're, oh, the answer's in John's book, or it's over in this book, Enoch, and I appreciate that's where I get help from other people. So I'm from the I'm from the show me state, Missouri. Thanks for showing me, Todd. You're welcome. You're welcome. Do you find that Sasquatch are monogamous or see various? What I think is I think they have male dominated societies like gorillas, but I could be wrong. Some people have been showing me about monogamy, potential for monogamy. So I'm about 70% thinking they're male dominated societies. 30% of me thinks that there's potential for them to be monogamous just because they do so many things like the Native American people. So I draw on anthropology from the natives and even primate anthropology and primatology from gorillas. Those are my two main sources of information that I pull back to get information about Sasquatch. I had an experience back in BWCA in northern Minnesota in 1981, and I think I saw one deer running in central MN the same year it was gray. Fantastic. Congratulations. Again, we'd love to hear about that if you want to have us document it. Hello from Indiana. Thank you for acknowledging my question. You're welcome, Shirley. Remember to hit the thumbs up. Andy's saying, thank you, Andy. And there's Candace again. I also have some trail camera photos. Wow. Also something bent down on a knee. Well, you might have some amazing, looks like a human form walking away. Wow. That is amazing, Candace. That is so fantastic. Love to hear about that. Sasquatch are intuitive, ready. Sorry, it's bouncing here. Ready body language and smells seems like telepathic though. So Randy's saying they are very intuitive. Body language, reading body language is what I think he means. Absolutely yes, and seems like they're telepathic. Body language, smells. I'm convinced. I had a primatologist come out from Discovery Channel, and I'm very convinced they stayed away from her because she ate such toxic food like jujubes and candies, and she was really like she even wanted me to give cakes to the Sasquatch. I'm like, I can't do that. That's poison. That'd be horrible to give them. So yeah, I believe they stayed away from her because she's toxic. And I talked to my expeditioners about that, saying, make sure you eat clean, make sure you're healthy as best you can, because if you're toxic, they won't be interested in you and they'll stay away from you. And that's something I've really seen. Like we eat really good, clean, healthy food, drink clean water, and even healthy minds. I want people that are in a mindset to be, because Sasquatch like fun, Sasquatch like positivity. On an expedition I was on, everything was going amazing. We were having all this incredible success, just fantastic. We were about 4 days in, and then one of the expeditioners, who's an amazing, wonderful man, told us about how his son, that was about 13 or so, passed away from cancer. And we were just like, it just devastated us all to hear that. Just a wonderful gentleman showing us pictures of his beautiful son who died and how it had destroyed his marriage and all this stuff. And we all felt really like literally you could just feel the whole crew just get saddened by that. And the Sasquatch didn't come around after that. They were literally having a great time with us, interacting with us. And as soon as we all got down into that mood, that was the first time I really noticed. And there was no other reason for the Sasquatch to come around. My prediction would have been they were doing great and the Sasquatch increase. As long as you're happy and you stay on that mode, the Sasquatch will come around more and more and more unless it rains. So, because they can't stand the rain and primates don't like the rain. But that was the only exception I'd ever seen. And other times since then, even myself, when I go out there really sad and upset, they just stay away from me. So they're not attracted to that. They want happy. That's just what I've seen in my experience too. So they really look for that amazing positivity. And yeah, so that's really what I go for. That's what I look for in expeditioners. So, hi Todd, do Sasquatch practice cannibalism? I have no evidence or knowledge of that whatsoever. Do you have a collection of things that have been gifted to you? I do. And it's a mess. I'm a little disorganized, but yeah, I have quite a few things. So even over the years, I've collected lots of stuff, and it's even the simplest things. Like 1 year at the end of the year, Sasquatch built this little rock structure thing and took stuff. They kept taking apples and berries and stuff, and they gave me berries back once. But just at the end of the year, they just put a pine cone on it. Just a pine cone. It was nice. It's a little bigger than usual and a little weirdly shaped. But a Sasquatch definitely gave me that pine cone. And it was such a wonderful gift to me. I don't know. I kept it and walked around with it for a long time. And it meant a lot to me because only a Sasquatch would do that. There was no other reason. And I felt it. I felt the energy behind it. It meant a lot to me. So I'm even this little structure that we had built for us last year, I'm going to glue it together. I've thought about like encasing it in clear glass plastic and stuff like that, but I'm just gonna glue it together, I think, because I want to be able to touch it. Because the Sasquatch put their hands on these rocks. So actually, speaking of that, I have it right here with me. So a Sasquatch literally touched this. So what I'm going to do is there's 4 rocks that they placed on top of each other, and I'll just glue them together exactly the way the Sasquatch made it. That way people can come and touch it, and I can touch it, and because it matters to me. Like a Sasquatch and I want to say put her hands, because I believe it was Jane that built this. My video 4 female put this together, so it really means a lot to me, and to be able to touch it and feel it and that energy. So I don't want to. Yeah, I'm gonna have it for years. This is really, really special. I wish sometimes I wish I'd done more to keep my mementos and stuff. But I travel a lot and been through a lot these past 3 years with all the COVID and just my personal life being turned upside down. So things have gotten really messy and disorganized. But I'm coming back now. Everything's good, and this is gonna be such a great year, guys. I'm gonna end the show here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I will end the show just saying that everything is on par. I'm so excited about the people. I'm so excited about these new expeditions. I'm so excited about where I am in life and the new people that are coming in, the new expeditioners that are coming out, and the old ones that are coming back, and the new connection that I have, the new people that are going to be working with me and in the future upcoming movies and whatnot. So it's a really, really exciting year, guys. So be excited, get excited. It's going to be an amazing year for the discovery of Sasquatch. Best year ever. I know it. I can feel it. It's coming. And so get excited about it. And thank you so much for tuning in. I do Thursday videos and Sunday video usually. I'm kind of doing the documentary right now, so I apologize. Those videos haven't been out, but I'll get back to that. So stay tuned to the YouTube channel for new videos. I'm going to keep doing my Wednesday live show. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And let's see if I can get out of here. And until next week, take care of yourself. Bye for now.